entitled taking medications, Chomaitz medications on Pesach. So at first glance, unless you're talking about a life-threatening illness, chas v'shalom, and there's no other replacement, then you can't take a Chomaitz medication on Pesach. It's not that simple at all. And tough membed in the Shulchan Aruch, Siftet, and Mishabura Mem Gimel have the following very important information. Chomaitz that is not edible, not a dog would never eat it, even though it was chomaitz, but it was rendered inedible before Pesach. One is allowed to keep that chomaitz on Pesach. It's not defined as chomaitz. Shulchan says one is allowed to keep it on Pesach. Mishabura points out, Taf Mem Bet, Mishabura Mem Gimel, he says the following: you cannot eat it. Why? But it's inedible, so who cares that you're eating? So that's what's known, that according to some opinions, not all, but according to the Russian others, it's achshavei. But the very fact that you're eating is subjectively, you made it into chomaitz, into food. In other words, the world doesn't care, that doesn't look at this as food, and therefore you can keep it around. But once you consume it, you're making this into food. Although the Ran and others did not hold that way, Mishabur does quote the Russian, says if you eat it, that's a subjective definition. You're making this into food. So then it would seem when you read the Shulchan Aruch first to think, oh, it's not edible. If you have chametz with no taste, a medication, the chametz medication with no taste, or it's bitter, that's not edible. It's not food. So then the Shulchan Aruch would seem to say it's fine. But the Mishnah says, yeah, but when you eat it, you rendered it food halakha, at least midrabanan from the rabbis. It's not so simple. Because it's one thing where you go ahead and you take this inedible food and you eat this food. Over here, what am I doing? I don't want to eat this medication. I want to swallow it. I just want to go down my throat. Is that what the Mishnah Berurah meant? So there's different opinions. Many poskim say that is not achshavei. Achshavei means for this specific food, it could be the world doesn't like it, but I want to eat it. So that's not what you're doing over here. Over here, I'm just consuming it. I'm swallowing it. Not because I have any desire for it whatsoever. I want the medical aspect of this pill. That's all I care about. There may be some chametz in there. They hold it together or for whatever reason. But there's no taste to it, and I don't want it. I don't want to eat it. So there's a machlokas till this very day. Many poskim say that is not achshavei. That is not considered a subjective rendering of the food into chametz, because you're just swallowing a medical pill, and that's it. While the others are more machmitz, it's Eliezer is more machmer. Rabbi Yosef says in certain cases it's to be machmer, in certain cases it's to be lenient. So there are different opinions in this. That's why many lists have been created over the years, where they have lists where they trace zero chametz medication which have no taste whatsoever. Rav Melamed in Bnei Halacha, he says that he thinks a little bit extra to go and put so much energy into all these lists when really, according to the din, it's halachically fine. But obviously all these lists and others hold that no, we try to avoid ingesting chametz because of that shita, this stringent opinion that says that ingesting it may be defined as achshavei. Shalom.